Welcome to Timeless Memories. I'm Sarah. This channel is a special place where we honour remarkable lives that continue to be remembered with love and admiration. Here we reflect on unforgettable figures from film, music, television and culture, celebrating their journey, their impact and the legacy they left behind. Every tribute we share keeps their memory alive and forever meaningful. Valentino Garavani, who passed away at the age of 93, was widely regarded as one of the most influential figures in modern fashion. Born in 1932 in Rome, he founded his fashion house in 1959, building a global symbol of Italian luxury and timeless elegance. His work became instantly recognizable for its refined silhouettes and the iconic Valentino red, a signature shade that came to represent glamour and sophistication across the fashion world. Over his long career, he dressed some of the most prominent figures of his time, including Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, Elizabeth Taylor, and Julia Roberts, helping define red carpet style for decades. His philosophy was rooted in a simple idea: to make women feel unforgettable, a vision that guided every collection he created. Even beyond the runway, his influence shaped fashion culture and inspired generations of designers. The House of Valentino continues to reflect his aesthetic legacy, preserving the elegance, artistry, and vision he built throughout his life. Roberta Flack was born on February 10, 1937, and became one of the most distinctive and emotionally expressive voices in American music. Classically trained as a pianist, she developed a style that blended soul, jazz and folk with a calm, deeply felt delivery that set her apart from her contemporaries. Rather than relying on vocal power alone, she built her artistry on nuance and emotional honesty. Her breakthrough came with songs that became enduring classics, including The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face and Killing Me Softly, with his song, both of which remain defining moments in popular music history. Across a career spanning more than 50 years, she earned multiple Grammy Awards and wide respect for her craftsmanship. Beyond her recordings, she also supported music education and encouraged younger artists to value sincerity in performance. Roberta Flack passed away at the age of 88, leaving behind a legacy of timeless music that continues to resonate quietly and powerfully with listeners. Any artists in folk and world music. Over time, she was widely celebrated for helping bring Irish culture to a global audience with authenticity and grace. Even as she faced health challenges later in life, she continued to inspire through her music and presence. Her legacy remains rooted in storytelling, resilience, and a voice that carried Ireland's spirit across generations. Josh Marrow was born on November 8, 1990, and grew up in Texas after moving from England at a young age. From early school years, he showed strong athletic ability and developed into a reliable defensive player at LD Bell High School. He later attended Stanford University, where he earned respect for his discipline, work ethic, and team-first attitude. Although he went undrafted in 2014, he worked his way into the NFL through determination and persistence, eventually spending several seasons as a dependable defensive lineman known for consistency rather than spotlight moments. Legacy and passing. Across his professional career, Marrow played multiple seasons in the NFL, contributing as a steady and trusted presence on defense. Off the field, he was remembered for his strong family values and quiet faith, as shared by those close to him. He passed away at the age of 35 in 2026, leaving teammates and fans in shock and mourning. While details surrounding his passing have not been publicly confirmed, his legacy remains rooted in perseverance, humility, and dedication to the game. Dick Button, born on July 18, 1929, is widely regarded as one of the most influential figures in the history of figure skating. As a competitor, he brought a new level of athleticism and creativity to the sport, becoming an Olympic champion and introducing technical innovations that helped redefine what was possible on the ice. His performances combined precision with artistry, setting new standards that inspired future generations of skaters. From champion to influential voice. After retiring from competition, Button became a respected commentator, where his clear explanations and deep understanding of skating helped audiences better appreciate the complexity of the sport. His insights made figure skating more accessible to viewers and enriched the way competitions were experienced worldwide. He remained closely connected to the sport throughout his life, continuing to influence its development long after his competitive years. Dick Button passed away at the age of 95, leaving behind a legacy built on innovation, excellence, and a lasting passion for figure skating. Andy Kershaw was born on November 9, 1959, and grew up with a strong curiosity for music and storytelling. He didn't fully follow traditional academic expectations, instead gravitating toward live music and cultural discovery during his time at university in Leeds, where his passion began to take shape. Broadcasting career. He became known for his bold and independent approach to radio, especially through work on the Old Grey Whistle Test and later BBC Radio 1. He often introduced audiences to music beyond mainstream charts, focusing on global sounds and lesser-heard artists with a distinctive, personal style. Global reporting beyond music, Kershaw also worked as a reporter, covering international stories and cultural events in different parts of the world. His work often highlighted human experiences and global realities, bringing a wider sense of awareness to his audience through broadcasting. Legacy. In his later years, he faced serious health challenges and passed away after an illness at the age of 66. He is remembered for his authenticity, fearless curiosity, and lasting impact on how radio connected listeners to the wider world. For decades, Angelina Jolie has existed as more than a movie star. She became a global fascination, a face recognized in nearly every corner of the world. Her beauty reshaped fashion standards, inspired endless headlines, and turned her into one of Hollywood's most photographed women. Yet behind the glamour lived someone carrying private battles few people truly understood. Long before awards, humanitarian missions, and international fame, Angelina was a deeply sensitive child struggling with loneliness, abandonment, and emotional confusion. The world admired her confidence, but beneath it stood a woman searching for stability and peace. Her story is not simply about fame or heartbreak. It is about survival, transformation, motherhood, reinvention, and the difficult process of healing from emotional wounds that began long before cameras entered her life. While millions saw perfection on magazine covers, Angelina Jolie spent years trying to understand herself beyond the image the world projected onto her. A childhood marked by separation. Angelina Jolie entered the world in 1975 during a period when her parents' marriage was already collapsing. Her father, Jon Voight, was becoming a respected figure in Hollywood, while her mother, Marceline Bertrand, quietly carried the responsibility of raising two children after the relationship ended. Angelina was still very young when her father left the family, and the emotional absence created a wound that followed her for years. She grew up watching her mother work tirelessly to support both her and her brother, often sacrificing her own ambitions to provide stability. While Hollywood celebrated Jon Voight's success, Angelina experienced him mostly through distance and disappointment. Birthdays, holidays, and important moments often passed without his presence. That absence shaped the way she understood love, trust, and emotional security. Even as a child, she sensed the imbalance between her parents' lives. One moved through celebrity circles while the other struggled quietly at home. Those early experiences deeply influenced Angelina's emotional world, planting feelings of abandonment that later surfaced in many of her relationships and personal struggles. Feeling different from everyone around her. Growing up in Los Angeles was not glamorous for Angelina Jolie. Despite living near the center of the entertainment industry, she often felt isolated and misunderstood. At school, she stood out because of her unusual appearance. Her sharp features, full lips, tall frame, and intense eyes made her look different from many classmates. Instead of admiration, she often faced teasing and exclusion. The same features later celebrated worldwide once made her feel insecure and awkward as a teenager. She struggled to fit into social groups and frequently described herself as lonely during those years. While other students seemed confident and carefree, Angelina felt emotionally disconnected and uncertain of where she belonged. The pressure of carrying a famous last name only complicated matters further. Some classmates viewed her through the lens of celebrity, while others dismissed her entirely. Inside, she battled feelings of low self-worth that fame would not magically erase later in life. Those difficult adolescent years shaped her deeply. They created emotional sensitivities and insecurities that remained hidden beneath the confident public image the world would eventually come to associate with her, searching for relief from emotional pain. As Angelina moved through adolescence, emotional struggles began affecting her mental well-being more seriously. She later spoke openly about periods of intense sadness, confusion, and emotional emptiness during her teenage years. Like many young people facing emotional pain, she searched for ways to cope with feelings she could not fully explain. Her experiences reflected the challenges of someone trying to understand overwhelming emotions while growing up under public expectations and private insecurity. Therapy and creative expression eventually became important parts of her healing journey. Looking back, Angelina often described those years as emotionally turbulent and deeply lonely. She struggled with self-image, identity, and the fear that she would never truly feel accepted. What makes her story powerful is not the darkness itself, but the honesty with which she later discussed emotional health and personal vulnerability. Rather than pretending she had always been strong, she acknowledged how difficult those years truly were. Over time, acting became one of the few spaces where she could safely channel complicated emotions into something meaningful. Performance allowed her to express feelings she often struggled to communicate openly in everyday life. Acting became her escape. When Angelina Jolie enrolled at the Lee Strasberg Theatre and Film Institute, acting quickly evolved into more than artistic ambition. It became emotional, refuge. On stage and in front of cameras, she discovered the ability to explore complicated emotions through fictional characters rather than carrying them silently alone. Performing allowed her to release anger, sadness, vulnerability, and confusion in ways that felt productive instead of destructive. Casting directors immediately noticed her emotional intensity. Even in small roles, she carried unusual depth and unpredictability that separated her from many young actresses of her generation. Yet success did not arrive overnight. She spent years attending auditions, hearing rejection after rejection, and fighting the constant assumption that opportunities existed only because of her famous father. Angelina desperately wanted recognition based on her own ability rather than family connections. That determination pushed her to work harder and embrace emotionally demanding material. Her early performances carried authenticity because the emotions beneath them were real. She understood loneliness, insecurity, and emotional conflict intimately. Those personal experiences later became the foundation of performances that audiences found unforgettable because they never felt artificial or emotionally empty. The role that changed everything. In 1995, hackers introduced Angelina Jolie to wider audiences and marked the beginning of her rise in Hollywood. Although the film itself received mixed reactions initially, viewers immediately noticed her magnetic screen presence. She carried a combination of vulnerability, rebellion, confidence, and danger that felt unlike anyone else in mainstream cinema at the time. Hollywood suddenly realized she possessed something impossible to manufacture. Audiences could not look away from her, yet with recognition came intense media fascination. Reporters became obsessed not only with her acting, but also with her personal life, appearance, and unconventional personality. Angelina never fit neatly into Hollywood expectations. She spoke openly, dressed differently, and refused to behave like the carefully polished celebrity many studios preferred. That unpredictability made her both fascinating and controversial. The public began viewing her as mysterious and emotionally intense, while magazines constantly searched for dramatic narratives surrounding her personal life. Although fame opened professional doors, it also created pressure that complicated her already fragile emotional world. For Angelina, being noticed by millions did not automatically erase the insecurities and emotional wounds she had carried since childhood. Motherhood changed her entire life. One of the most transformative moments in Angelina Jolie's life arrived when she adopted her son, Maddox Chivinjoli Pitt, from Cambodia. Becoming a mother reshaped her priorities completely. For the first time, her focus shifted away from her own emotional struggles toward protecting and nurturing another human being. Angelina later described motherhood as the experience that grounded her emotionally and gave her life deeper purpose. Caring for Maddox inspired her to pursue stability, responsibility, and personal growth in ways she had never fully embraced before. The emotional intensity that once fueled self-destructive behaviour gradually transformed into protective devotion toward her children. Motherhood also expanded her understanding of global suffering and inequality. Visiting orphanages and witnessing poverty firsthand deeply affected her perspective on life. Rather than remaining isolated within Hollywood culture, she became increasingly committed to humanitarian work and international advocacy. Her identity began evolving from controversial celebrity into dedicated mother and activist. That transformation surprised many people who had previously viewed her only through sensational headlines. Yet for Angelina, motherhood was not a public image change. It was a deeply personal, emotional awakening that altered the direction of her entire life. A humanitarian mission beyond Hollywood. As her acting career continued growing, Angelina Jolie increasingly dedicated herself to humanitarian work through the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. What began as curiosity gradually became one of the defining aspects of her identity. She travelled extensively to refugee camps, conflict zones, and struggling communities across different continents, meeting families facing unimaginable hardship. Unlike many celebrity activists who appear briefly for publicity, Angelina invested years into learning about displacement, poverty, and human rights issues. She listened carefully to survivors of war, displacement, and violence, using her fame to draw attention toward global crises often ignored by mainstream media. Over time, she earned genuine respect from humanitarian organizations and world leaders for her commitment and consistency. The same emotional intensity that once overwhelmed her personal life now fueled her dedication to helping vulnerable communities. Humanitarian work gave her a sense of purpose beyond Hollywood recognition or public approval. It allowed her to connect with people on a deeply human level, far removed from red carpets and celebrity culture. Through advocacy and charity work, Angelina gradually rebuilt herself into someone focused not only on survival, but also on making meaningful contributions to the world around her. The pressure behind the perfect image. Although the world often viewed Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt as an ideal family, maintaining such a public image created enormous pressure behind the scenes. Both careers demanded constant travel, filming schedules, interviews, and media appearances. At the same time, they were raising 6 children while navigating extraordinary public scrutiny. Every outing became international news. Photographers followed them constantly, turning ordinary family moments into headline material. Over time, the exhaustion of living under permanent observation began affecting their relationship. Friends and industry insiders later described increasing emotional distance between them as work schedules and personal stress intensified. Angelina focused heavily on directing films, humanitarian advocacy, and parenting responsibilities, while Brad managed his own demanding projects and personal struggles. The balance that once held their family together gradually became harder to maintain. Publicly, they continued appearing united and supportive. Privately, however, emotional strain was quietly growing. Their story reflected a painful reality many couples experience. Love alone cannot always overcome exhaustion, pressure, and unresolved personal difficulties. Even relationships admired by millions remain vulnerable to emotional distance when daily life becomes overwhelming and communication begins to weaken. Protecting her children above everything else. Following the separation, Angelina Jolie devoted much of her energy toward creating emotional stability for her children during an incredibly difficult period. Divorce becomes painful enough privately, but navigating it under worldwide media attention added extraordinary complexity. Angelina focused heavily on maintaining routines, protecting privacy, and supporting her children emotionally as they adjusted to changing family dynamics. Over time, several of the children began stepping further away from public attention themselves, choosing quieter lives separate from celebrity culture. Angelina often spoke about wanting them to discover their own identities without pressure from Hollywood expectations. Her parenting style increasingly emphasized emotional openness, cultural awareness, and independence. Although legal matters surrounding the divorce continued for years, she consistently framed her priorities around family well-being rather than public image. Observers noted that motherhood remained the center of her emotional life even during periods of professional success or legal conflict. The experience also reflected how deeply Angelina valued emotional safety within family relationships, likely influenced by her own difficult childhood experiences. Protecting her children from instability became one of the defining motivations guiding many of her decisions during those challenging years. Life beyond the headlines. As time passed, Angelina Jolie gradually stepped back from certain aspects of celebrity culture, focusing more on directing, humanitarian advocacy, and raising her family. While she continued acting selectively, her priorities clearly shifted toward quieter and more meaningful pursuits. Public fascination with her personal life never fully disappeared, yet Angelina increasingly seemed less interested in maintaining the glamorous image that once dominated magazine covers. Instead, she focused on storytelling projects connected to human rights, war survivors, and social issues she deeply cared about. She also remained involved in global humanitarian work, continuing visits to refugee communities and advocacy campaigns. Through all the public turbulence, she slowly evolved into a more reflective and emotionally grounded person. Fame no longer appeared to define her identity in the same overwhelming way it once had. Although challenges remained, including ongoing legal matters and family adjustments, Angelina seemed increasingly committed to living with purpose rather than performance. Her journey demonstrated remarkable transformation from emotionally lost teenager to internationally respected humanitarian and devoted mother. That evolution may ultimately become far more important than the celebrity image that first introduced her to the world decades earlier. A legacy built from survival and reinvention. Today, Angelina Jolie remains one of the most recognizable and complicated public figures of modern entertainment history. Her life has unfolded through extraordinary highs and deeply painful personal struggles, all under constant global observation. Yet what makes her story compelling is not simply beauty, fame, or scandal. It is resilience. Again and again, she rebuilt herself after emotional hardship, personal loss, health fears, public criticism, and family upheaval. She transformed painful experiences into empathy for others and used her visibility to advocate for vulnerable communities around the world. While tabloids often focused on controversy, her deeper story has always been about survival, motherhood, reinvention, and emotional healing. She spent years searching for belonging and purpose before ultimately finding meaning through family and humanitarian work. The woman once portrayed as Hollywood's most unpredictable celebrity gradually became one of its most influential voices for compassion and awareness. Her journey proves that people are rarely defined by a single chapter of their lives. Beneath the headlines and public fascination stands a human being who spent decades learning how to turn pain into purpose and vulnerability into strength.